Hi guys, welcome to Counterpoints. My name is Connor, and today we're going to be breaking down the lore of Space Marine 2 as if it were a movie. This masterpiece in art was released late last year, and to be honest, the reason why we didn't do this earlier is because it was so rich with lore and visuals, I genuinely didn't know how to tackle it. But, as my commissar always said, how do you eat a Carnifex? And the answer is one bite at a time. Whether you're a noob or veteran of the 40k universe, I invite you to come along for the ride, and at minimum I can show you something cool, and at maximum I can teach you about this beautiful, dark, gritty, violent, and complex world. If you need a refresher, please check previous episodes, but know that the former captain of the second company of the Ultramarines, Demetrian TITUS, was slain serving the Death Watch. He successfully deployed a virus bomb over the planet Kadaku in order to delay a Tyranid invasion. Shortly after, he was impaled by a Carnifex for his efforts. The last thing we saw was bolt shells killing the Carnifex as Titus lost consciousness. This episode is brought to you by Mastermind Models and Miniatures. They are a phenomenal paint studio out of Huntsville, Alabama, who are waiting for your commission idea. You know darn well that you're just going to spend another fortune on plastic gray kits that are just going to sit there in your pile of shame, and it will take years to get them on the battlefield. Instead of procrastinating, let Mastermind Models and Miniatures bring your imagination to life. Go to the link down in the description below and tell them that we sent you.
The Emperor. The wound was fatal. You survived only through the Rubicon surgery. We remade you. You are a Primaris now.
Why?
Lord Calgar issued the command himself.
Is he here?
Gone. Summoned by the Primarch.
I must get back to the Watch Fortress.
You have been reassigned.
My place is with the Death Watch.
The Inquisition can find no stain on you, Titus, accused of heresy. You have served penance in the Death Watch for almost a century, and not once have you faltered. But you will never know redemption until you have faced the judgment of your brothers. Prove yourself to us and know true absolution. What is your life?
My honor is my life.
What is your fate?
My duty is my fate.
What is your fear?
My fear is to fail.
What is your reward?
My salvation is my reward.
What is your craft?
My craft is death.
What is your pledge?
My pledge is eternal service.
We find Titus resurrected aboard the Ultramarine battle barge, the Resilient, orbiting Kadaku. A Space Marine battle barge is a capital ship that provides close support during a planetary assault. It can host up to 300 Marines, their chapter serfs, their armory, and a host of drop ships, fighters, and vehicles. Any Space Marine chapter of 1,000 Marines will have 2 or 3 battle barges, but will often deploy companies of 100 Marines out of the ship's cousin, the Strike Cruiser. Titus is shocked by his return to life and is greeted by the skulled mask of a chaplain. Chaplains are the spiritual leaders of a chapter, meant to lead on the battlefield by example, but also to look out for dissent and corruption amongst the ranks. They demonstrate and proselytize the virtues and temptations of the Adeptus Astartes, a constant guard against any malevolent force. The chaplain thanks the Emperor for Titus's recovery, which brings up an interesting detail about the religiosity of Space Marines. Many chapters, including the Ultramarines, keep the imperial truth of the Great Crusade. They do not believe the dark gods of the warp to be true gods, nor do they believe the Emperor to be divine. Instead, he is the ultimate human, an immortal genius who carved the greatest human civilization out of the stars, and it is the Space Marines' duty to guard his creation. They still revere him and the Primarch with tones, language, and traditions that exude religiosity, but they will deny his divinity right to the face of the priests of the imperial cult. There are some chapters, though, who have seen the miracles of the Emperor, seen the powers he can wield, see his intercession through the warp, and believe him to be divine. One of my favorite quotes about this debate is that apotheosis, or the process of becoming a god, does not require consent. Titus suffered a fatal wound, being impaled through many of his vital organs. However, through the Rubicon Primaris surgery, he was saved, which is another interesting tidbit of lore. Space Marines from the year 30,000 to the year 40,000 were largely unchanged. There were minor upgrades to their armor and weapons, but the gene seed, the physiological enhancements of the Astartes, were the same in the 40th millennium as they were in the 30th, even maybe a little bit degraded. When Abaddon the Despoiler's 13th Black Crusade crushed the fortress world of Cadia, this tore a great rift across the galaxy, opening it even more to the horrors of the warp. Archmagos of the Mechanicum, Belisarius Cawl, had been working on a project in secret for the past 10,000 years and saved his precious creations for just such a calamity. Just as all seemed lost, the Primarch of the Ultramarines, Robute Guilliman, was resurrected and led the Indomitus Crusade at the head of a host of Primaris Marines. These Marines had an additional 3 physiological enhancements, boosting their size, strength, speed, and resilience to the limits of human physiology, and they had a host of new weapons and armor. Firstborn Marines could still best these newcomers with centuries of battlefield experience, but there was no denying that the Primaris were a head taller, a bit faster, and a bit stronger, and had more stable gene seed. Some Marines embraced these reinforcements, while some shunned them as heretical perversions of the Emperor's already perfect design. The Primaris Marines proved their utility, though, in a time that the Imperium needed them most. The transition of a Firstborn Marine to a Primaris Marine could be as dangerous as his first transition from human to Space Marine, and many experienced brothers died on the surgeon's table. As a result, until the process could be perfected, only Firstborn Marines who were grievously wounded were given the surgery as a last-ditch effort to save their lives and give them a new one as a Primaris. Titus is shocked that as a shamed Black Shield of the Death Watch he was saved, and he's eager to return to the Watch. The chaplain interrupts this plan, though. During Space Marine 1, Titus was accused of heresy by his brother Leandros. Titus was taken by the Inquisition and tortured and experimented on for years. The Inquisition wished to uncover if he was a secret agent of chaos, or find the secret of his resistance to the warp. Unable to find any specific trait or taint, but not fully able to trust him, the Inquisition forced Titus to serve in the Death Watch, while striking his colors as an Ultramarine. The Special Forces alien-killing organization of the Death Watch accepts what are known as Black Shields. These can be shamed Marines from any chapter, they can be Marines whose chapter was wiped out in battle, or they can be Marines from renegade chapters who had fallen to chaos, but this specific brother had not. As long as there are no signs of physical or spiritual corruption, a Marine can strike their colors from his armor, remove any chapter insignia, and fight and die in the Death Watch with honor. The chaplain denies his request to return to the Death Watch, stating that he has served a penitent tour of duty for almost a century and not been found wanting. If Titus wants true absolution, he must earn his place amongst the Ultramarines chapter once more. Which brings up one of the coolest arming cinematics in Warhammer history. The chaplain asks, "What is your life?" Titus answers that his honor, his higher code of conduct, his virtues as an Adeptus Astartes are his life. The chaplain asks, "What is your fate?" Titus answers that his duty, the way in which he serves the Imperium, is the way in which he will live and die fulfilling his fate. The chaplain asks, "What is your fear?" Space Marines do not fear the way that mortal humans do, and Titus answers, "My fear is to fail. Not the talons or blades of the enemy, not their shots or barbs, not to die fighting some monstrous foe on some forgotten backwater. Titus's only fear is to fail himself, his chapter, his Primarch, his Emperor, and his Imperium." The chaplain booms, "What is your reward?" Titus answers that salvation is his reward. His soul will either know the embrace of the Emperor or eternal slumber, but it will not become the playthings of warp creatures or dark gods. What is your craft? The chaplain asks. Titus answers that his craft is death. What is your pledge? The chaplain asks. Titus answers, eternal service. Titus is given a purity seal with an iconic Warhammer 40,000 passage on it. Reason begets doubt. Doubt begets heresy. Blessed is the mind too small for doubt. Success is commemorated. Failure merely remembered. And only in death does duty end.
Sir, you served in the Death Watch.
Yes.
That must have been a great honor. It's a privilege to serve with you.
Approaching drop zone. Let's go.
You see those service studs?
Our lieutenant is over 200 years old.
He couldn't have been born a Primaris.
You're right.
And now he has your command.
Major, give me an update.
The wretched beasts have taken the orbital guns. They pushed us back to this encampment and are staging a heavy assault.
Illyrio, take Altarius and Elion and remain here to secure the encampment.
Yes, brother.
Major, we must reach the defense guns.
Yes, my lord. Follow me.
My lords.
The situation here has deteriorated. Those foul gargoyles pollute the skies. They do. These unrelenting attacks make a counteroffensive difficult.
Major! We've got more incoming from the east!
Move to reinforce the eastern flank. You, go with him!
We will assist in the defense.
Very good, my lord!
Here they come!
For the glory of Ultramar!
My lord! Intelligence reports multiple swarms closing in!
Direct us to them.
Sending coordinates to your Auspex display! Airstrike incoming!
You wretched creatures. A direct hit, Major.
The 8th never miss!
Titus is reinstated as Lieutenant of the 2nd Company of Ultramarines. The Ultramarines are the poster boys of the Warhammer 40k universe and seem to be engaged in every major conflict. They hail from the realm of Ultramar, a semi-autonomous empire of 500 worlds within the Imperium. They borrow much in aesthetic and culture from ancient Rome and seem to be the most stable Space Marine chapter both historically and genetically. Before deploying, Titus is notified that his record as a Black Shield is stricken to avoid questions from his battle brothers. Titus is even goaded by Captain Acheron whether or not his demotion will be a problem. Captain Acheron was born a Primaris, but is already a grizzled veteran of several campaigns. When the legendary Captain Cato Sicarius was lost to the warp, it was Acheron who filled his role. Acheron led a reconnaissance vanguard detachment to the industrial world of Nemengast. When he found the Chaos Warband, the Black Legion, had already conquered the planet and converted its forges to producing demonic machines, he led a bold assassination and sabotage campaign that killed many warsmiths and halted the production of new chaotic beasts. Captain Acheron survived Nemengast, the war of beasts on the planet of Vigilus, and fought against the Death Guard in the Plague Wars. While young compared to Titus, he is no slouch and will not be talked down to. There is a coldness to Titus about his reinstatement, but it seems that just under the surface, he is bristling at the opportunity to rejoin the battle lines and prove his worth. Titus does so immediately. Titus is greeted by Sergeant Gadriel and Brother Chiron. They are Marines born as Primaris and are shocked to encounter a new leader over 400 years old and a veteran of the Death Watch, no less. They take to the field of battle and help the Cadian 8th secure their foothold outside of the orbital gun installations. Their ultimate goal is to retake the guns from Tyranid forces and blast as many Hive ships out of the sky as possible. Gadako is to be abandoned, but before they can leave, critical personnel and data must be recovered. The Cadians are the poster boys and girls of the Guard, the way the Ultramarines are the poster boys of the Adeptus Astartes. They hail from the fortress world of Cadia and were trained since adolescence as soldiers. The world of Cadia was destroyed in the 13th Black Crusade as a Blackstone fortress was flung into their planet. Millions of guardsmen died fighting, shooting, and stabbing demons and cultists as they were thrown into the void of space. Their fierce reputation and grit meant that the survivors in orbit were not a resource to be squandered. The Cadians colonized new planets and now raised new generations of men and women to avenge their dead homeworld and to serve the Imperium eternally. Lieutenant Titus holds the focus of the Tyranid assault until the Aeronautica Imperialis Marauder heavy bombers can blast the swarms apart. For now, the Cadians can maintain their hold outside the installation. Titus pushes into the installation, slaying many Tyranids and saving many guardsmen. Titus and his fire team link up with a cut-off element of the 8th Cadian and are able to breach the orbital complex. This allows Imperial forces to retake the guns. The guns need to be charged to be fired, and the Tyranids need to be cleared from the installation before they can do too much damage to the systems. It's up to Titus and his fire team to ensure success.
Punch a hole in those Hive ships so big you can fly a frigate through it!
It won't let that happen without a fight.
It's...
The Hive mind. The Tyranid's powerful collective intelligence. Not to be underestimated.
Major! The guns are in a zero state of charge. It will take time to wake the machine spirit.
Hurry!
The Tyranids will throw everything they have at this facility.
This is Major Sarkana. Divert 2nd and 3rd platoon to the orbital guns immediately.
Copy that, sir.
Let's show these bastards what the 8th are made of!
Major, we need to establish a perimeter.
My troops are in defensive positions. They'll hold.
The enemy will try to scale these walls. Do not let them.
Keep those frags ready!
Northern wall is breached. Concentrate your fire. No hesitation. Get them off that wall! Protect the antenna!
the terminal to begin targeting! Target's locked! Let us relish the sight of those vile ships burning!
The Cadians redeploy, expecting a heavy Tyranid assault. Valkyrie dropships move in additional platoons to support the effort. In order to salvage and prepare the guns, TITUS's fire team fights through a gauntlet of Tyranid combat forms. The Hormagaunts and Termagants give the team hell, as do their Tyranid warrior leaders. While a Space Marine can easily dispatch dozens of these forms, they operate in coordinated swarms that can overwhelm even the most experienced of warriors. The key is to cut through the chaff of the gaunt combat forms and kill the warriors. Tyranid warriors are what's known as synaptic linchpins. Each Tyranid is a creature unto itself. Disconnected from the hive, it goes feral and follows basic instincts. Warriors are synapse creatures who act as a relay to the hive mind. Killing the warriors can cause a psychic backlash that kills smaller combat forms, or their death can sever the gaunt's connection to the hive mind, causing them to flee. Gargoyles are horrid flying versions of the gaunt combat form and should be blasted with grenade and meltifier as appropriate. Zoanthropes are floating brains that can shoot dangerous psychic blasts, capable of exploding in Astartes' brain inside of his reinforced skull. All of these Tyranid forms are dangerous and not to be underestimated. Once TITUS is able to clear the installation of Tyranid saboteurs, the orbital guns are fired, exploding a Tyranid hive ship in a shower of gore and viscera that will rain on Kadaku for miles in every direction. For now, the mission is complete. If you want to support the channel, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for new videos, and comment for the comment gods. Your viewership alone helps me in the algorithm and is appreciated. If you want to take your support a bit further, please become a YouTube member or support us at patreon.com/counterpoints. Check out the other videos on the channel, support our sponsors, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until the end.